Hi there. In this video, we'll talk about oligopoly. We'll have a little bit of introduction of it. In the last video, we understood the monopolistic competition, and a step ahead is this oligopoly. Because in oligopoly, instead of large number of sellers, there are only two or more sellers that are large in terms of their size, because they have the ability to cater most of the market, and that's why they dominate the market. And that whole industry is basically populated by them only, and we don't have a large number of sellers in it. And in this oligopoly, there are two possibilities. Either the few firms are producing similar goods, that is homogeneous goods, or slightly distinctive goods. And this can happen in cases of aluminum products or electrical products, because one can produce similar products from these of this kind, as well as they can differentiate their products by doing more and more research and development. So it will be a pure oligopoly, because the distinction is not that much. The slight difference is there, but if the difference is substantial, that is, if there are differentiated products, that is in case of automobiles and computers. Because when we compare the automobiles, we can see that their designs, their capacity, their comfort level, their interior, exterior, all those information and specifications, they differ substantially. And computers, they also fall in this category where the product differentiation is the source of making profits and excelling in the market, for which they do quite a bit of research and development. So where the differentiation between the goods or among the goods is substantial, we can call it the differentiated oligopoly. So these are the two possibilities based upon the product differentiation. And the entry is hard into this industry of oligopolists, because quite a bit of capital investment is required, especially when we consider these examples that we need quite a bit of capital investment in it. And even after the capital investment, we have the requirement of highly specialized inputs, and the products, they are also highly specialized. So sustaining this farm and continuing this production process is also an expensive thing to do. And finally, there is a possibility of having a patent, because if some firm is able to make a new chemical which is beneficial or useful for the society, it may be given a patent, due to which it will be producing the chemical and not any other firm. So the entry becomes nearly impossible during that time. And about the interdependence, there is quite a bit of high degree of it, because this is something which was missing in other market structures. But in case of oligopoly, the interdependence is there. It is quite natural in oligopoly, because the number of producers, they are a few. They are either two or a few. So when they are in such a low number, it is easy to observe the strategy of the other producers in the market. So this is why the interdependence is quite high in this kind of market structure, because the purpose in this market structure is to develop a monopoly. So a very severe kind of competition is observable among these few or couple of producers. So interdependence is the salient feature of this market structure. And that interdependence happens as whenever there is an action by an individual firm, there will be change in the actions or reactions of the other firms, because the rest of the firms, they will react to that accordingly. And that can be by following the price strategy or output strategy. On the basis of price strategy or the output strategy, there are a number of models that are not the scope of this video. Now we have the discussion of the imperfect information. As it is imperfect information, it means that there will be low level of information among the consumers. And it is again quite intuitive, because the components and the composition of vehicles or electrical products, or the chemistry of aluminum, or the digital structure of the computers, these are the things about which the consumer cannot have ample information, whereas the producer has all of the information which is required. So therefore, we can say that price asymmetry, or the phenomenon of imperfect information, is quite evident in this form of the market structure. And this can be related to the costs. Definitely, the producer knows about the cost and the cost structure of such highly specialized goods that are being produced. The prices and the product quality, the resources, and the production strategies. So these are various aspects of the imperfect information. And then there is another category that we must know about oligopoly, and that is when there is a kind of compromise or some sort of written or unwritten, explicit or implicit or hidden agreement between the oligopolies, because sometimes they are wise enough to understand that instead of competing with each other, they can join hands one way or the other, and they can get higher profits. So when this happens, when there is a formal agreement between the oligopolies, and that is definitely to benefit themselves, that is by fixing the production targets. In this way, the production will be limited, and hence the prices will be kept high. So when this happens, or when the price is kept high up to a certain level, or above a minimum certain level, then there will be benefits for these firms in this formal agreement or overt agreement. This can also be to share the profits, which can be also beneficial and convenient for the firms, because now they have a cartel. This is the term that we use, and this is one of the examples. That is the OPEC, which stands for Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. In this way, they can make their lives easier, and they can share their profits, avoid unnecessary competition, they can keep the prices high, or they can fix the output level up to a certain level. So if this agreement is formal or overt, it will be known as forming a cartel or forming a trust. But if this agreement is not formal, or if it is, in other words, covert agreement, then it will be considered as a collusion. And in collusion, there will be no written agreement, or there will be no evident agreement, and the intentions and the plans and the strategies of these firms will remain hidden. So definitely for the masses or the consumer, this is a more dangerous form, because their plan of maximizing their profits by sabotaging the output or keeping the price artificially high will not be noticed, and state cannot protect the consumers in this case. So it becomes difficult. It's a more dangerous form of the agreements between the oligopolists. One of the examples would be that if the oligopolists, those who are trying to collude, they can avoid hiring the employees of other companies, and that can help them to keep the salaries low. Because if they allow the employees from the other companies to come to their companies, definitely they will have to pay them higher to attract them. So in this way, the prices of hiring more and more labor, or better labor, or more experienced labor from the other oligopolists would be higher. In order to keep this low, they can avoid hiring the employees of their competing or colluding, in this case, not competing because they were competing before, but after this agreement, now they are colluding with each other. So in this process of collusion, they will not allow the other employees, and definitely it will keep the salaries low, which is disadvantage for the labor, but the advantage for the oligopolists who are in the form of collusion. So in this way, we have understood a little bit about oligopoly. And in the next video, we'll learn that how we can assess the market structure, if it is a monopoly or oligopoly or monopolistic competition or perfect competition. Thank you.